Why, hello there, boys and girls of the interwebs. So, while I sit here waiting for my hair to get finished, I am letting it purple right now. I've been wanting to color my hair for like a month, but you know, when you're working at a pool job, you can't really do that. So now that I don't work there anymore, why don't I just let this sit in my hair? I do this and go on with it. And you might hear my Google go off telling me the timer's done and I go rinse this out. But I'm going to try to do this quick video and then we're going to go from there. So clearly, as you see, my VR chat protogen is off to the side here. This was not easy to edit. I'm just pointing this out because I've done this before. I'm literally recording both my monitors at the same time. That is really annoying. I'm on news.google.com and we're going to be doing like all of the stuff that you see right here. Like, what is a furry? We're going to skip this one. We're going to talk about this one and this one, but we're not going to do this all in one video. One video will take up like 15 minutes. I've read this first article several times and it takes at least 15 to 20 minutes to finish the entire article. Well, probably takes like, it's probably more like a 5 to 10 minute read, but because I'm going to be discussing a little bit in it, it will take at least 20 minutes. I'm going to try my best to edit as much as possible and get to the point. So let's go ahead and get started. What is a furry? Everything you need to know about a misunderstood subculture. Furries are just like anyone else, and nothing like you'll hear about on Fox News. I'm gonna butcher this guy's name because I don't know how to say it properly. It's like Giuseppe Lopez, I think. Giuseppe? Because it's a Q! How do you pronounce that in this circumstance? But, decent picture. Let's go ahead and get started. Of all ridiculous conspiracy theories to emerge from the bowels of the right-wing internet over the past few years, few can top the idea that furries are taking over schools. From Colorado Representative Lauren Boebert to a slew of state legislators, conservatives have seized upon the anti-LGBTQ+ subculture war to claim that students are increasingly identifying as furries, or people who love anthropomorphic animals. These rumors have been proven false, and the fact that they went viral in the first place smacks of transphobia, which is like probably one of the funniest things I have heard in the longest time. Is who says smacks of transphobia? That's not a thing. Quit it. Conflating a fairly benign subculture with trans students who are asking for their existence to be respected. Here are the facts. While perhaps misunderstood, furries are just like anyone else, and definitely nothing like what you'll hear about on Fox News. What is a furry? The simple answer is that they're people who have strong interest in humanoid animals. Often furries have personas or humanoid animal personas. These are animals like wolves, cats, and foxes that often have human characteristics like eyelashes and outfits. Furries often embody their personas by portraying them in the art, role-playing, and wearing furry costumes known as fursuits. Conservative myths surrounding furries aren't just made up. They're designed to perpetuate harmful stereotypes that minimize queer students, and they deeply misunderstand what furries actually are. Furries are a vibrant community of creative people, many whom are queer, who are just trying to live their lives and make friends with common interests like any of us. The furry subculture has a rich history and presence both online and at in-person events across the country, and furry fandoms can be incredibly affirming spaces for many queers and trans folks. If you want to read more stuff, there's an article right here, blah, 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 blah. But they're right. They are right. But you also have to remember that a lot of people think that we furries are, like, just fucked in the head and stuff. Well, that can be said about literally any group, any role-playing group, or any fandom. If that, you'll always have people who are in the groups who are toxic, who are grooming, who are trying to hurt one another, who are assholes in general. If you don't understand something, that's perfectly fine. You're not meant to understand everything. When I worked at this pool company, I could not for the life of me understand what parts per million meant. And I still don't understand it. I didn't understand, okay, well, you got a 20,000 gallon pool. How much sodium bicarbonate do you add to it to raise up whatever you need? I think the alkalinity? I don't remember. But the point is that you're not meant to understand everything, and that's perfectly understandable. I cannot speak, apparently. Sometimes that's just how things are, and don't take it personally. Things happen, and that's just, you know, whatever. But as many people will tell you, us furries, we're relatively harmless. We're not going out of our way to hurt you. Furries sometimes create a persona, or a non-human character they use to represent themselves to the world. They often create digital art to share these avatars with others, showing it off on platforms like DeviantArt and YouTube. But if you really want to show your art off, throw it in a Discord chat, dude. Some furries purchase costume elements to help them channel their personas. For some, buying their first set of ears can be a significant moment. For others, tails can be another source of inspiration. For those who have funds, that can mean buying a complete fursuit or a full suit modeled after their persona. And I believe I already did a video on this. If you remember, fursuits are hella expensive, anywhere between like $1,000 up to tens of thousands of dollars, and I wish I was joking. There is a fursuit creator, I can't think of their name right now, I think they're from Ukraine, a buddy was telling me about. They only make one suit like a year or something, and it usually goes into a raffle. And it's hella expensive, it's very, very rare, and they don't just make it for anybody. They're like custom made for that person. What is the difference between furries, otherkin, and therian? Furries don't actually identify as animals, which is one of the most common misconceptions about them. While furries have an interest in anthropomorphized animals, animal personas, and sometimes create their own, they do not believe they are actual animals. The thing is that there are a lot of furries, especially teenage furries that I run into, that actually do believe that they're the animal, and they get all excited and all this stuff, and it's adorable at first, but then you go, okay, kiddo, you gotta bring it down a couple notches. And at first, it makes sense why you would think that, because, you know, teenagers, kids, they have a very, I want to use the word exuberant, but I don't think that's the right word, but they do definitely have a very, if you're hearing this right now, I'm clipping the side of my dead cat, just clipping up some of the faux fur, as it just looked uneven from my eye. But essentially, a lot of, you know, especially teenage furries and a lot of, you know, young 20-something furries think the same things. They think that, yeah, you know, I'm a golden retriever because that's how I've always been, and my mom's always said I act like a dog and blah, 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 so now I'm a dog, and so on and so forth. Which, okay, I get it. You think that, look, the older you get, the more you just like it for the role playing and the aspect of it, and I know that I'll never be it, but you know, a lot of young kids, they're not otherkin, they're not therian, they're just delusional at best. And as I've told people, at least I know I'm delusional. I know it's fake. What is it? I think it's like if you call yourself out, then you're probably not really that kind of thing. The confusion might, in part, be from conflating furries with otherkin and therians. People who identify in some way as not fully human or non-human. Otherkin is considered by some to be an umbrella term that encompasses those who identify broadly as non-human. Therian is a more specific identity term within the... Stop! Otherkin is considered by some to be an umbrella term that encompasses those who identify broadly as non-human. Therian is a more specific identity term within the otherkin umbrella, which refers to those who identify as an animal that has existed on Earth at some point, i.e. dinosaurs and wolves. There can be an overlap between these identities, but it's important to never conflate the two or assume things someone's personality identity. No, the dude down the street, he happens to have a Nazi flag on his front porch, and it's always waving. No, that dude's not a Nazi, not at all. He just happens to like World War II a lot. I'm making fun of the fact that we shouldn't, you know, judge a person by their personality and stuff. No, that's exactly what you do, my guy. I'm sorry, but that is how we judge each other in this society. What are some common misconceptions about furries? Because furries have been thrust into the conservative news cycle over the last few years, myths about them have spread like wildfire. From the misconception that furry is a sexual orientation to the idea that they're somehow nefarious or dangerous, these assumptions just perpetuate harmful rumors about the subculture. Below are just a few of the many false claims people make about furries. False. Furries are people who think they are animals. Again, I've already broken this. I would say the average furry who does go to conventions, who has a regular Discord channel, or they talk to their friends about it, that's obvious. Those kids, they don't believe they're actually animals. But again, I've met very delusional people. People who are unfamiliar with furries often believe that they think they are actual animals. This is not the case. Furries are just people who are... Furries are just people who have an interest in anthropomorphized animals, while some furries have fursuits and dress up as their persona. They do not believe they are actually the animal they are embodying. Think of furries as just another genre of cosplayers dressing up as their favorite characters. Additionally, most furries do not own fursuits or cosplay as their personas. Many are just people who have an interest in humanoid animals and express the interest through art, storytelling, and other outlets. That's one of the things, like, especially, I follow a lot of artists, and I love seeing their art. And it's pretty straightforward that so many of them they probably don't have a fursuit. They might have a tail, they might have an ear, they have a single ear, they might have ears or something like that. I have a Paul Star hoodie, I have several of them, and I have my own tails. I make my own tails. If I want a new tail, I've got the faux fur underneath my table over here, and I can make myself one anytime I want. So the thing that you have to remember is fursuits, like I said, are extremely expensive. And that's why people buy bits and pieces at a time. And I wanted to, until my friend broke his arm. Well, he broke his clavicle because of a bike riding accident. Motorcycle. We were going to get started on it, and I was going to start doing a duct tape dummy of myself and get myself situated in it. And once I got my suit done, I was going to get his suit started as well. Well, I was going to get his dummy done. And then I will try to do what I can and figure out how to cut out the pieces and stuff. I know how to sew, I know how to put things together, and I was watching like Sky High videos, and she's really good at it. She knows how to make suits and stuff, and that's what I want to do, because I know that if I do as good a job as I can, I'm looking at like making thousands of dollars easily within like probably the first 2 years. My suits are not going to be top notch, but they'll be very, very close. I'm not going to send a suit out without like looking at it, without going through and be like, this is perfect. But anyways, false. Furries are all about sex. A common misconception is that all furries are hypersexual and engage in the fandom to yiff or to have sex while wearing their fursuit. And to point out, I would like to say that if that were true, there would be a lot more furry stuff in bars going on, but the fact is it's such a subgenre. If these people were as horny as like a lot of people think furries are, like, oh, it's all about sex, there is easier ways to get laid, okay? And most of the furry community is gay anyway. So if you're gay, yeah, you've got it made, but it's a lot harder than you think. It's important to keep a few things in mind. First, adults have sex sometimes. Sometimes? I know adults who fuck constantly, even if they belong to a different subculture. It's normal. Second, while wearing a fursuit during sex might not be your cup of tea, we aren't here to judge. Many wouldn't bat an eye if someone wears lingerie to have sex. Think of a fursuit as another hot outfit to some. Third, fursuits are custom made, expensive, and hard to clean, so a lot of furries don't want to get them sweatier than they might already be from walking around. Fursuits are also bulky, so having sex in them is a logistic nightmare and dehydrating, which isn't always the best for getting in the mood unless you're into that. Seriously, go to any convention. I have seen fursuits who are just absolutely gigantic. I met one furry creator. I follow his work sometimes. I put a video up of him from FWA. I can't think of his name at the moment. Nargle? Yeah, Nargle. He's a pretty cool guy. And when he took off his head, holy shit, the dude was just matted hair, just covered in sweat. He was burning the fuck up in that thing. Which is honestly why, I don't understand why they didn't say, you know what? We're going to set the temperature of the hotels to 50, which they should have done. I know that I'd be walking around with one of my jackets on, but I would rather walk around in a jacket than having all my fellow furries burning the fuck up who were in suits. But minimizing the furry community to sex is another way people misunderstand who furries are. Many furries just use the subculture to make friends, express their creativity, and engage in in a hobby that they love. Most furries are part of that community. Most furries are a part of the community because they want to find others who share their interest in a sense of social belonging. This is the last part of it, and we're at 22 minutes. False. Furries want to use a litter box in school. This one is just wrong. Despite what conservative political pundits may say, over 20 conservative political candidates and politicians across the country have made the claim that children are identifying as furries and asking for a litter box at their school with no evidence whatsoever before such rumors began to spread. Furries were not known for using litter boxes at all, with no major furry conventions providing such facilities for their droves of fursuit-clad attendees. It's just not something furries are known for. It's important to keep in mind that this is a myth in particular was invented by conservative politicians in their fight against LGBTQ plus youth. The point being made is that if trans kids are validated and not taken seriously, what's to stop kids from identifying as animals? And that's quite the stretch. Not to mention a sad way to think about their rights as trans youth. You know, I just realized something. Playboy bunnies could be another version of furries when you think about it, but they're like so low key that the girls that are dressed up as Playboy bunnies, they just wear ears and they have a little bunny, like a little bunny tail that sticks out from their costume. They could be furries as well, but you know they're not going to do that. But that'd be really funny. Imagine when well, no, Playboy doesn't write anymore. I think they're online only, but that'd be funny if they did an entire article based on furries. That'd be funny as hell. My final thoughts on this, like I said, I think that Lopez, in this circumstance, I think he did a fantastic job on writing it. The best thing to do if you're a furry and you're trying to come out to the community and you wanna find furry friends, that's great. I'm glad that you are in our community, but please be careful. Every community has weirdos. We've got bad people. When I say weirdos, we're weird. But I mean bad weird. I like my weird friends. I love you all. But just be super careful because there are people out there who want to hurt you, who want to do bad things, and so on and so forth. So just be careful. The next one we'll be reading, after I get done with this video, we're going to be reading the Everything You Know About Furries is Wrong. We're going to see, this was back in 2023. This was back in November. Is there a way to like filter the dates? Because I just realized there's one that was posted, furries on U.S. campus 6 days ago. Florida Furry Convention Force. This one. We're gonna do this one next. I want to try to go in order. Whoa! My girlfriend's a furry, but I'm not attracted to animals. I love. Don't judge. No, love, don't judge. That's not how that works. That just says so much. What furries with satanic symbols spotted near... Oh, we're going to be reading this. Are furries a problem at Utah schools? Here's what district says. My girlfriend's... Oh, let's see, there's the same article. With perky ears... No, you know what? If this was the reverse situation, my boyfriend's a furry, but I'm not attracted to animals, love, don't judge. If that was the reverse of a situation, you know people would be shitting all over it, but the fact that she's a female, that's why they don't judge it. Furry Road. School district responds to rumors of kid identifying as furries after student protest. So we're going to be reading the Florida Furry Convention one first, and then I'll do this one next. Depends on how long it takes to do it. We'll go from there. But as per usual, if you're new to my channel, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and put down below what you think about furries. Are you a furry? Or are you learning about furries? Do you want to know more about them? As I said before, I am a furry, and I don't mind teaching. If you have legitimate questions and you're not being a dick, I am perfectly fine with it. At 32 years old, look, I've been through a lot in my life, and I've still got ways to go. I probably have another 70 years as long as I take care of my health. But all I'm saying is we're always going to have this crap. Stuff like this is going to happen. You're going to have bad people in every community. So take it with a grain of salt. And just remember that it's for fun. 99% of this is for fun. Could you imagine? I want to do a skit on this with this, like, I wrote it up. It was fucking hilarious. It was like, coming out as a furry. You don't come out as a furry. Being a furry is a hobby. Could you imagine if you and your friends, like, you're like, oh, I'm really into Yu-Gi-Oh, but my dad doesn't like it because he's into Magic, and your dad just kicks in the door and goes, what's that, son? You're playing Yu-Gi-Oh in here? No son of mine's gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh. You're gonna play Magic the Gathering, and it's gonna be a burn deck like your old man. Fuck you, Dad. You don't understand me. Yu-Gi-Oh is life. I want to do that as a skit, but I gotta get like a friend involved, which would be even funnier. Because I want to be the one that says "fuck you, Dad," and I want my friend who really plays Magic to kick in the door and do that. It'd be funny as shit. I gotta find the right person to do it. I have several dad friends in mind. Anyways, like I said before, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and come back anytime you want. I hope you had a good time watching my video. I hope I did a good job reading. I'm going to have a lot of editing to do. Later.